heart of YWAM Singapore is twofold. We believe that YWAM Singapore is aligned to the destiny of our nation, which is being a platform, a gateway and a stepping stone for local Singaporeans to go out into the different parts of Asia, as well as for foreigners who are called to Asia to come through Singapore to be equipped in order to be effective out there.
I think one of the revelations that seemed to be permeating the church at that particular time in Singapore, I don't know if it was really new or if it was new to us, but the whole concept of Singapore becoming the Antioch of the East.
Singapore in its origin and in its beginnings was a little fishing village. And in its history, fishermen would come to Singapore for a place of rest, replenish their supplies, and then go back out to their calling to be a fisherman. That this was Singapore's destiny. That God had intended a tiny city to be a place where people could come on their journey in God, be refreshed in God, be replenished in equipping, in capacity, in skills, and then be released to their call in God.
This was a time where we really clearly recognized that YWAM Singapore is not only part of an international movement as YWAM International and having its international the values and the vision, but we also realized that as Singaporeans, that YWAM Singapore also has a stake in the nations. And in that we also has a prophetic voice to the nations.
There is something latent in Singapore that is creative, that is 20-25 years ahead of the region, and has a capacity to be able to disciple other nations if they can find it in God and not keep it for themselves.
Singapore is blessed, but it's blessed not just to enjoy the blessing. It's blessed so that it would also be a blessing to all peoples of the earth.
The second part of the call of YWAM Singapore is about our community. A community that disciples one another, a community that disciples people that come through YWAM Singapore, a community that networks with the larger body, with the body of Christ, with churches in Singapore, with their associates, with young people, with the business professions, and people who are skilled with different expertise, a community that seeks to embrace the all in order to go out there to be effective.
To be a vibrant, Christ-centered community, a community of the King.
A community of believers serving God's missions and providing a platform for many to move into the nations, whether it's through YWAM Singapore, it's through the marketplace, through tent making, but it will be a launching pad for many, and that we can move into different sphere of influence.
And then I think the challenge for us is whether we will mature into or have the capacity to be able to offer wisdom to business, government, the arts, education, and whether we will mature to the place to be able to find out how we can give wisdom to the domains and discipling nations. I think Singapore is going to disciple the nations.